Boys, welcome back to a new video. I know it's been a while. It's been like, I think 3 months that I haven't posted. A lot of things have happened and a lot of personal development, a lot of personal growth that I'll talk about. I've been able to, for example, achieve a dream, cop this Rolex here that I want to get for a long while, and just completely change a lot of different perspectives that I had about sales, about business. And yeah, I'm back here with basically breaking down and giving you all the sauce, all the things that I've learned in the last couple months, completely for free. In this video, we're going to start with something very, very important that has to do with how to behave and who you should be as a closer, okay? Because this is the number one thing that I always see with people is that you never change who you are. And by not changing who you are, you will never get to where you want to be. And by not changing who you are, that's why you have an average closing rate, a shitty 20, 25% closing rate, right? So we're gonna dive right down to it, hoping that it'll actually share my screen. And let's see, boom. Welcome to this presentation, guys. So this is the closer's code, right? Mastering your identity to become unstoppable in sales. What does this mean? That the number one thing that I always see, well, this is also a mindset thing that I may do a separate video about, is that to actually achieve what you want to achieve, you fundamentally have to change who you are. Because if who you are right now was not able to make you that 10K a month, 20K a month, that means that who you are right now is not capable of achieving that. For example, the who you were, at the beginning of your gym training that wasn't able, to bench 120 is because who you were right then physically, you were not physically capable of achieving, those weights, that bench press, right? This is the same thing, only in your mind, but it's literally a physical thing. Like, you're not physically capable of achieving those things because subconsciously you're not that person. The mind is as much as real as your physique, as your body, right? Even more, right? And most times when it comes to closers, is you don't close deals because of what you say. Because sometimes, what you say, if you are in a certain way, you can always pull it off. You close deals because of who you are, right? If you ever notice, like, the top guy, popular guy that, is always, always seen well by, I don't know, in school, I usually had these people, like the top popular guy that, would even fuck up, but it wouldn't matter because he would pull it off anyway, because, he was that guy in your head and in the head of all the people that, were following him, right? It's the same thing. Same thing is that because of who you are, you can end up, saying whatever you want, doing whatever you want, and you'll be given a pass, right? So, well, if, for example, you're not who you need to be, being the top closer, being the guy that has the confidence, the positivity, we're all going to talk about this soon, but basically not having all these different things, well, then you have to really try to be that person. Then the moment that you flake, then boom, the facade crumbles, and then you're not anymore who you were supposed to be, and you end up losing the deal, right? So these are, for example, and not for example, but these are literally, like, in your core, things that you need to become, and you need to submerge yourself. And we're going to talk about the subconscious mind and how to actually become these things and fully immerse yourself. These are 3 core identity pillars of a high level closer, right? Every high level closer that I know, myself, other people in my network that are at 15, 20, 25K a month, they all have these things, and this is what commons them all, and this is what I've basically written in this presentation. Number 1 is unshakably positive, okay? So what does this mean? Here, there's a quote that I have actually gotten from a mentor that I had. If you want to 10x your closing rate, stop chasing scripts and start becoming the kind of person people want to say yes to. What does this mean? That if you start becoming the type of person that is positive, that is enthusiastic, that is warming, and this is also about tonality, we're going to talk about tonality in a moment, then people are going to want to say yes to you. You don't have to start chasing scripts. You don't have to start, basically mimicking something that you're not, because if you sound robotic, if you sound fake in sales, the moment that you sound fake, you lose trust. And once you lose trust, then you lose the deal. The most important thing is to sound genuine, right? And you have to genuinely become the kind of person that people want to say yes to. And this is a positive person. This is a person that when you hop on a sales call, for example, in the meet and greet, which is the first minute of a sales call, is like, hey, what's up, Robert? How you doing? I'm so psyched to have you on this call. What we're going to basically be explaining, blah, 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 right? Enthusiastic, happy, up tonality. Up tonality is a type of tonality in sales where when, for example, you start a call, right? And you're like, yo, what's up, Robert? How you doing? Like that. Enthusiastic, positive, that what does that make? What happens is that the prospect, first of all, sees you positive, you up their mood because, for example, maybe they were working all day and then they just see this positive person, it makes them up their mood. They want to talk to you because, you're an interesting and positive person to talk to. And then from there, you're going to be liked, and people buy from people they like. That's just another very important thing that Some people say it's not true, but in my experience with all the people that I have closed, it is definitely true, right? So most salespeople focus on tactics, but the top 1%, they know it's about identity, right? Because people don't buy the offer, they buy you. This is literally true. Like the moment that you are a certain person, if, for example, this happens to me so many times, I go to buy, a new phone, I go to buy something. If the person, actually the other day, I went to buy this shirt, right? It was a button shirt, not like this blue one. It was a white shirt, cost like 110 euros, but that's another thing we got to talk about: self-image, how to dress properly like a man, all these things, we're going to talk about. I went there and the guy was a salesman. I mean, he was charming. He was really, positive with me. He, of course, said that I looked really good with the shirt and everything. Maybe it was true, maybe it was not, but that's what he had to say. And then he was like, oh, there's this other thing that I really think that you're gonna really like, and it was this blue jacket, which was like 500 euros that I may end up getting. That's not an issue. But the thing is that he was that type of person. If it was another person that maybe was not that, and this happened as well, to like subconsciously in my mind, to go to a store and maybe the guy was not even that positive, was not maybe even that, maybe it was snarky, and I was like, I'm not going to buy anything from here because I don't like the guy. It's just like that. Like, we're ego driven people, right? So this is super, super important. You always remember that you are completely the reason that they're going to buy. Whether a program is the best, I mean, the program could be shit, but if you're the type of charming, incredible, great at speaking, great at understanding them, great at relating, they're going to buy anyway, right? So it's like 80% you, 20% the product, right? People buy from people they like. And then, as I said, high-level closing starts with who you are when you show up, right? Every time that you're about to hop on a call, tell yourself, this is very, very important, that you are the solution to their problem. You are a consultant. This is another thing we're going to talk about in another video on how you should never see yourself as a salesperson, always see yourself as a consultant. And it is a privilege for them to talk to me. This is a power play, a thing of status, of authority. They should be the people, they should be the one to talk to you. They should be privileged. And if they actually buy the product, it's a blessing for them, not for you. Like, you wouldn't care less about the money. Remember, people never buy from people that are needy, that need money. People always buy from people that don't need money, right? This is very important. And another thing you need to be, this is number 2, the second pillar, is undeniably an expert. Now, if I ask you, what's your name? You're going to say, oh, my name is Finn. My name is Patrick. You're going to just say it. You're not going to say, oh, yeah, my name is, no, because you know your name. You're undeniably an expert of your name, right? Why does this matter? Because if they sense that you're guessing in the call, they're going to see it right away, because you're going to start actually like saying, oh, you're going to start leaving out these weird noises. And never have weird noises when you're talking to somebody in a sales call. It's just unprofessional. People will see it and they will right away guess that you're not an expert. As you never use any weird noises when you're talking about things that like your name, like where you are, your address, whatever, then if you don't say those same noises, if you don't do those same noises, then they'll know that you're actually an expert in what you're saying, that you're an expert in your product, right? This is super, super important. So if they sense that you're guessing, which is going to be very easy to sense because you're going to speak in a weird way, you're going to be like, when you're in interrogation at school, you're like, oh, I don't know, same thing. If they see that you're guessing, they won't trust you, okay? Yeah, my dog is kind of going crazy. But based on that, Luna, sto registrando, cazzo, dai. Luna, no, it's okay. It's okay. So if you don't know what you're talking about, you got to really study the product, study what you're selling, be an expert in what you're selling, because the moment that you are an expert, you're going to see it. As I said, you have to be seen as a consultant, as an expert, as somebody that knows what they're saying. Even though maybe selling an e-commerce product and you don't know anything about e-commerce, who cares? You need to be an expert in that thing, because even though usually you're never going to say, oh yeah, I'm the salesperson of this company. You're going to say, I'm the consultant, I'm the expert, I'm basically the account manager, whatever, of this company. But it requires that you know something about the company, that you know about what they're selling, what you're selling, right? So you got to be an expert, absolutely, right? True closers own the frame because they own their craft, right? The moment that you own something, you start speaking with confidence. You start speaking with actual, like, your way of speaking in a confident way that they can not second guess you, right? If you're still like trying to find how to say things, it means that you don't know what you're saying yet, right? If you're trying to, you're letting down those weird noises, it means that you don't really know what you're talking about. This is very important. And people give money to those superior to them, not equal. This is something about consulting. As I said, as a closer, you should see yourself as a consultant. You should understand this facet that people give money never to people that are equal. They always give money to people that they see as superior, that they see as knowing better, that they see as more knowledgeable, that they see as better in something than them, right? This is true for everything, right? And in this case here, you need to basically, it's just true, in the calls, you basically need to put yourself in a level of authority as superior than them, because in that call, you have to be seen as superior than them. Not in life. I mean, just don't be like, oh, I'm better than you. No, it's okay, I know more about this specific thing than you, so I'm a figure of authority in this moment, right? This is very, very important. And then from there, the third pillar and the last one is magnetically commanding, right? So this is earned respect, relational gravity. I'm going to explain this in a moment. And why does this matter? Well, people don't just buy from people they like. This is what we talked about before. This is one thing that wraps around all the pillars in and of themselves. They buy from people that they respect, because if you're commanding, if you're an expert, and if you're positive, likable, then you end up being somebody who is respected, because all these things regroup into being respected, right? Which is super important. If they don't respect you, then they might not buy from you. They probably won't buy from you. Sometimes it can happen, but it is very, very important, right? So you don't just talk like a leader. You got to carry yourself like somebody who people can follow. People will never, as I said, people will never buy from people they see as equal. You have to be a leader in something, a pioneer in something, in that specific thing, or at least in a leader in even themselves. Like, this is something very important, is that once you're a closer, you need to basically immerse yourself in who the prospect is, understand their emotions, their feelings, their goals, make them your own those feelings yourself, because then from there you can understand what their pain points are and understand what their solution is and understand what will make them tick, what will make them buy, right? And what actual solution you can provide that is of more value than the actual prices yourself, right? Because a sale is made once price exceeds value. This is a very basic formula. So the key traits here are: don't overtalk. You ask precision questions that have to do with basically understanding their emotions, their sentiment, what actually drives them, their pain points, what makes them tick, and then let silence work. For example, let silence work means when, for example, a prospect is saying something of negative to you. So for example, oh yeah, I understand, but yeah, I do think this could help me out, but I'm not really interested, or I'm not really actually, I don't know if this is something for me, I don't think if this can help me out. Instead of saying, oh yeah, well, of course, yeah, makes sense. And then, right away, just, it seems like you're trying to justify yourself. Take a moment, pause. And this is also pause. Take a moment when you speak yourself. Instead of saying you just take a pause, breathe, and then resume the conversation. In this case here, let's say the prospect says something of negative, like, yeah, okay, I saw the product, but I don't know. I mean, it is a lot of money. I'm not sure that I want to do this. If you say right away, oh yeah, of course, then you're going to be seen as salesy, and it's going to trigger sales resistance. Instead, you should be like, okay, pause, like even 2 seconds, 3 seconds of silence, just like, yeah, I 100% understand, man. That's something that I totally agree with. It is a very big decision, and it's a very big thing that you're doing right now to bet on yourself and to actually put yourself on the line. And I totally understand your decision. And then from there, you do the objection handling. But you pause a moment, you tone down, and as if like you're waiting for them to say something else so they can justify themselves, which sometimes they could even do. This is why when you say the price, you stay silent. Oh, the price is $1,000. The first person who speaks loses, right? This is the same logic, same mechanic, right? So, and then another thing, of course, is you got the conversation. We're going to do a whole other lesson about that, but not push, but pull them into alignment by asking questions. But this is going to be another lesson in and of itself. And then you reject the needy vibes, right? So your posture, for example, when you're in sales, you always should be a little bit not right like this. I do like this sometimes if I have to read because I don't see well, but you should be relaxed, shoulders back. Do some mannerisms, speak calmly, speak not super in a fast way, think before you say things, otherwise you're going to do exactly like now, like, oh, right? And from there, you got to be confident in your posture as well. And of course, you got to be charming, you got to be clean in your dressing, all these different things that I'm going to explain in another video. But all these things basically make you in the type of person that, as I said, will make the prospect say, okay, from this guy, I want to buy. Okay. So this is basically the lesson, the video that I already broke down for you guys. I hope this was of value. I'm going to be breaking down a lot of different things in the next couple of videos. I'm also doing a trip to Greece. I'm going to be recording that. I'm going to be doing some vlogs. I'm going to be recording also what I've learned when it comes to life, when it comes to change, how to kill your current self, how to change yourself into being the type of person that you want to be, all these different things. We're going to talk about it. And then from there, just be a little bit more real with each other, right? So I hope this video was valuable. and was helpful. And of course, if you are looking to make money online in a way that is consistent, in a way that is not asking for thousands of dollars for either a coaching, either your business capital to start, or just money spent lost in ads, but actually do something that doesn't require any capital, doesn't require any experience to start. It's not even a business, and you can actually make money. Like guys like Simon made 23K last month, Hawk made 27K, Maroof made 8K in the last month, I think. All guys in my network. Then we can hop on a call, see if I can actually help you out and to get you where you want to get, and then from there work it out together. All right. So hope this video was valuable, and I'll see you on the other video.